Hey guys, how's it going? This is Kellen here with another beer review tonight. Looking at one from Connecticut Valley Brewing. Sorry, this is a Trailblazer. It's an 8% double IPA, New England style double IPA. Yeah, so this brewery used to be called Pioneer. At least it was like a few years ago. I remember when this beer came out. So I don't know if there's they just decided to change the name of the brewery, or some copyright or some. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, Connecticut Valley. I feel like Pioneer was better. I don't know. It's a little. Connecticut Valley seems a little. I don't know. When you have a brewery that's named after like a region, that's actually not true whatsoever. But it just has a weird connotation to it. It's like very classic. It's like a classic brewery to me. That's like a very classic way to kind of name your business or your brewery. But yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, I've heard. I mean, I remember when this came out 2 years ago. This was at the time, might have been more than 2 years, when New England style IPAs, other breweries were starting to dabble with it, and get the recipe down, started getting hype based on just those one beers they were releasing. This is like when Trillium was like the top dog. I mean, they still are, but there's very few breweries in New England that were known for the New England style IPA. And then there was, this was past 2 years, within these last 2 years when this was released, it's been an explosion of breweries across the country that are doing the style. But I remember this was super hyped back in the day. So I saw a 4-pack. I'm here on Long Island, and I don't know if they just started distributing here, or if the store I go to just started getting it. But I've never seen it around. And again, this one beer was the one that kind of like put these guys on the map, so to speak. I think they've been around for a while, but when they released this, people like kind of started, seeking out this specific beer at least. Doesn't say what hops are in it, but yeah, there's a really long description that I really don't feel like reading. So yeah. So I'm the Trailblazer. If you're a sports fanatic, if you're a basketball fan, don't get your hopes up. It's not a reference to that. I think there's I don't know if there's like a biker gang or Trailblazer. I really don't want to read this. Yeah, the text is a pain in the ass to read, but if you're interested, check it out yourself. But yeah. This was canned on the 22nd of May, so we're like 3.5 weeks. Beauty is an eye of the beer holder. Wow. No comment. Hopefully that's not like a recycled can stamp, but hopefully they change it every week, because that's pretty lame. So be a little dick right now. But yeah, I got some poured out. I'll get some more in Nicholas. And yeah, it pours out. Lighting here is horrible, but actually looks even better on camera. It's like the one time that's ever happened. Yeah, it's got a nice orange kind of hue to it, but it's really hazy. It looks like there's going to be a lot of leftover kind of yeast or particulates in there. Just by the appearance, it kind of has that muddled look. These guys have been seeming pretty batch variant. I'm like constantly on Untapped, and I kind of see how the beers kind of change just in terms of appearance over a few, over different amounts of time. And this one, apparently, and I've also seen comments that these guys are kind of batch inconsistent. Some are like total throat burners, just a lot of yeast. This is kind of how this one looks, and some are a lot more balanced. So I don't know. I don't know if they actually. Sorry, this is a long intro, but where they brew out of. Brewing company. So they brew it they actually brew it on site. It's in South Windsor, Connecticut. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's get into it. Again, looks nice, decent head retention. It's been out for like 10 minutes, so let's get an aroma. Ooh, interesting. Wow, a lot of citrus fruits. A lot. Like that's pretty much the sole kind of thing I'm getting in terms of the hop character. Maybe some mango, actually. It's a little smaller can. Yeah, like kind of a mango citrus kind of thing going on. It smells very bitter, piffy. It smells piffy, if that makes sense. Like very, like really almost like underripe oranges or something. I don't know. Just like a very spritzy kind of zesty smell. Almost looks like there's like a caramel malt base, which is really weird, just based on how it looks. Yeah, there's definitely like a sweet, candied kind of thing going on under all that citrus, the Galora citrus stuff going on. Yeah, smells bad. Doesn't smell bad. Smells pretty solid. Very. Why'd I say doesn't smell bad? It actually smells pretty nice. But that caramel kind of, maybe it's just me, and I don't even know. I wouldn't suspect it'd be caramel malts in a beer like this, but it definitely smells like kind of candy-ish. You know, like that hard, just sweet candy. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. A lot sweeter on a palate. Again, aromas. There was some sweetness with the malt, but ooh, definitely. I even get some caramel flavor on a palate for malt quality, like some candied sweetness. But yeah, a lot of orange, grapefruit peel, pininess, grassiness. Interesting, kind of like a West Coast kind of take. I mean, in terms of like the actual hop profile, the actual flavor profile rather, is very reminiscent of a West Coast style IPA, but the actual depth and the texture, mouthfeel you're getting, it's definitely more of a New England style. A very dry and finish. Decent amount of bitterness, kind of like getting a yeasty kind of piffy kind of thing going on. Yeah, it's a little stringent, but it's not bad. It's good. I would say it's a thin mouthfeel, but it has a very drying quality, to where the carbonation, and it's like not, the body isn't, the mouthfeel feels thin, but it has a density to it, if that makes any sense. There's like a very spritzy kind of like drying quality to it. Someone might call that astringent, but I don't mind it. It's fine. Definitely some bitterness. And again, there's like this candied, almost like caramel flavor to it. So I'm curious. This isn't really, it doesn't usually, most New England style IPAs don't use caramel malts. In terms of the actual brewing process itself, why that's the case, I'm assuming because it has is a more contributing flavor. And with New England style IPAs, it's all about maximizing the hop flavor and kind of minimalizing how much malt contribution you get, and the actual flavors from the malts. But I don't know, maybe it's just the hops, but it tastes, there's almost like a malt quality to it, like a sweet caramelly malt quality. Definitely some, like, I wouldn't call it like a throat burner, but there's definitely some like yeast quality to it. Again, you get that kind of, that drying kind of sting on the throat, very mild. But I can see, geez, I can't talk. I'm assuming once I get to the bottom of this can, it's going to start to become a little more pronounced. Which, again, honestly, I don't really mind, unless it's like really overwhelming. If it's like a little, sometimes I don't mind it. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, it's like a raw kind of quality to the beer. Obviously the traditionalist, and for beer's sake, would probably find it to be offensive, and just kind of a brewing error. But it kind of depends what you're going for. So yeah, that's my take on like hop burn, or yeast burn rather. Yeah, definitely some like yeast flavors in there, and almost not boozy, but there's kind of like a alcohol. I don't know if it's the yeast I'm tasting or what, but there's kind of a odd kind of chemically kind of thing coming off on it. Good beer. I mean, it's not bad whatsoever. I think this beer is definitely, there's definitely breweries now that have surpassed this by miles. I'm sure when this came out, I don't think it's changed that much, but this is at a time, it's kind of in the embryonic stage of the New England style IPA in terms of just other breweries doing it besides the big dogs. So, it's still solid. I'll give this guy, excuse me, probably like an 88, 89. In 80, I'm not too fucking strict, so too specific. 87 to 90 in that range. I'm sure different batches are different. I'm sure batches vary. But this is a solid one. Pretty expensive at the place I got it at, but that's also probably just a store. But anyway, good stuff. If you are in New York and you suddenly see this, I'd recommend it. I wouldn't pay more than, I paid $20 for a 4-pack with tax, so I wouldn't really pay anything more. I probably will not get this again for a 4-pack at that price, but I wouldn't pay anything more than like $17 for this again, $16 maybe. But that's like the new standard. Back in the day, $13 for a 4-pack was outrageous, but now $16 is pretty cheap. So for this style at least. Trailblazer from Connecticut Valley. It's an awesome, guys. Cheers.